A want becomes a need when you tell yourself you can't do without it. That's the key. Good morning, Janet. Good morning, Karen. Gladney, good to see you guys. So a want is pure. A want is, I want because I want. I don't have to justify wanting anything. And there's no such thing that I cannot do without. Needs are very basic. We need a place to sleep. We can sleep anywhere. But we make ourselves feel needy. We feel less worthy. We feel less important. We feel less successful when we go and sleep on a park bench instead of sleeping in a nice comfy bed at our own home. But you can do without it. I forget the name of the author. Happy Money, I think. His book is called Happy Money. But he said, really, you can go from one friend's couch to another friend's couch. And you can spend a whole year doing that or more. So it's only when you make a want into a need, then you feel bad that you're sleeping on a couch in a friend's home. Because if it was not a need, then you wouldn't think about it that way. You would say, "Ooh, what fun, I'm staying over with this friend just now, and then I'm going to go over to another friend." We decide what is a need. You can go and spend $1,000 per plate at an expensive restaurant and still not enjoy your meal. Or you can go to the soup kitchen and enjoy whatever they put in front of you. Because the enjoyment is a decision. The neediness is a decision. So we take our wants, our desires, and we make them into needs. And we don't have to do that. There's nothing we need absolutely without which we cannot live life. And this is why, if you ever have the opportunity to visit a place, and you don't even have to leave your town because these places are right there in your towns, every town has it. If you just go to a place where people are living in a very basic way, there are children playing on the street who are still happy. They're happy. If you ever had the opportunity to visit India or Pakistan, you would see children who are really, really poor, but they're laughing and having a fabulous time. Why? Because their needs are being met. So they are happy. They don't have much. So someone looking at them thinks that they should be unhappy. This is the discussion that I used to have when I was living in Pakistan and people used to come and visit from the US. They would think, they used to think, and they used to comment to say, "You guys should not be happy because you don't have enough." And I was like, no, we are perfectly happy with what we have, because it is a decision whether to be happy or not to be happy. It's a decision. When we take desires and we make them into needs, we are making a decision to be unhappy without them. Think about it that way. I coached someone, and in the end I released her, blessed her and let her go because she wasn't ready. And She was on the brink of going bankrupt. And the things that were making her go bankrupt and creating a lot of stress for her to be more productive and create more income in her business, there were two things that were doing that. Number one was sending her only daughter to private school, and the other one was paying rent on a house that was in a very posh upscale neighborhood. So in the interest of stopping the bleeding, I said to her, how about for a short period of time you leave this house that you rented and you downsize into an affordable apartment and move your little girl from private school to public, and you will not have the stress that you have just now, because for the two things combined, that was $6,000, and she wasn't making $6,000. So every day she was digging the hole deeper, and I told her, come out of the hole. It's only going to be temporary. But she had taken this house that she was paying $4,000 rent for every month as a need. It was a need. And she could not see her daughter going to public school because public schools are so horrible. And no, she will die before her child goes to public school. But she was dying slowly, digging that hole and making it bigger because she had misplaced her priorities. Her needs were so big and she was not willing to reclassify them as desires because the need is very small. I don't know about you, but I have been there where all I needed was just give me a room to live in. It doesn't even have to have a toilet. I'll go to a coffee shop. I have done that with my parents. I remember the time when we all, 4 of us, moved into a room, and my mother had a portable stove that she put in the middle of the floor and she cooked on it, and there was no bathroom attached. And we had fun. Oh my God, my brother and I, we had so much fun living in that one room because to the 2 of us it was an adventure. To my parents it was probably painful. But for us it was exciting, a new way of doing things. Our needs were met. We were having fun. We were fed. We had a nice warm place to sleep. We didn't need more. And people often become needy over things that in the overall bigger picture don't really matter. And they make things that don't need to be needs, they make them into needs because they are worried about what other people will think of them. Other people will look at me and they will think I'm a failure. And I will look at myself and I will think I'm a failure. So there's a fast route to failure or a slow route to failure. You decide which one you want to take. Because unless you do something about that failure, nothing will change. And the thing that has to change is the thought that says, I can't live without this. I can't live without this. Right? I mean, I've seen, oh yeah, Nancy, you are thriving because of those public schools. There's nothing wrong with anything except that you choose to focus on what you don't like and ignore what you do like. You don't see, you refuse to see the other side of the coin, and you think that there's only one side. That's when you put yourself in a prison. That is the conditional thinking that in this unlimited program we want to get rid of. Be unconditional. When you are unconditional, you are unlimited. When you are unconditional, you are unlimited. And this is why I love the word unlimited. Everything I do is Christianed with that word, because that is the way to live life. That is what I want everyone to learn. So you see, what do you really need? You don't really need any of the stuff that you make such a big deal of. You don't need. Wanting is okay. You can want. But soon as a want becomes a need, meaning that you look at the absence of it rather than the presence of it, that's when you create a problem. So raise your hand if you're like me. If you are someone who knows what I'm talking about, where you've taken things that you lose sleep over, that don't have to be a need. You don't have to lose sleep over that. You don't have to lose sleep over the fact that you don't have a job. You don't have to lose sleep over the fact that you don't have a lover. You don't have to lose sleep over the fact that someone you care about isn't talking to you. You don't have to, but you've taken those desires, wants, and you've made them into needs. Neediness is attachment to the outcome. Neediness will prevent the thing that you want from coming. But if you can tell yourself that you are willing to be happy without it, then you open the doors of all possibilities. I have taken this to an extreme, because when my daughter was in critical care and the doctors could not tell me whether they can save her, you know what I did? I said to the universe, I am willing to live without her, but if you give her back to me, I will be very appreciative. But I am willing to be without her. I will still be okay. And it is that extreme that when you take it that far, that if I have to sell the house, I'll still be okay. If I have to do whatever it is. I remember when I was on the verge of not having anything, I said to myself, universe, no problem. I'm going to sell and I'm going to move and I'm going to start all over again, and I will do a much better job. I don't need to save everything that I've created. I don't need to save it, because I can start over. I can start over and do better. So when you take it to the extreme, and you say, if the extreme thing happens, I'll still be okay, then nothing remains a fear anymore. Nothing remains a challenge anymore. And I've done that. So I have said to myself, what if I die? I croak. It doesn't matter, because I had a pretty good life. I've watched my children grow up. I've taught them what they need to do in terms of their thinking and making their decisions. I'm good to go whenever. There's no fear here. So when you take things to the extreme, then the neediness disappears. Don't be needy about anything, and then watch how the magic unfolds.